Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on Hofstra.com with head coach Simon Riddiough. I'm Brian Bull, and coach, you kick off the 2014 season with a split, a 1-0 loss to UConn and a 4-2 win over Bucknell. Just what are some of your initial impressions of the first weekend?
It was your typical first weekend. Some good things, some bad things, a lot of things we need to work on, a lot of things which we're happy about. So overall, a fairly content weekend. We would like to get 2 results, but unfortunately that's not always the case. But for this time of the year, we're in a good position.
In that UConn game, even though you lose, you had a couple of really good scoring chances. Amber Stodd's had a sequence back-to-back shots, some really good saves by the UConn goalkeeper. So there were some positives there, some good energy it looked like. Just talk about starting the season against a pretty good opponent.
Yeah, playing UConn at Stores Field on their home opener is always going to be difficult. They're probably the most prestigious programme in this region. So that offers a challenge in itself. But the girls, we were organised, we prepped well, and with the last 30 minutes we really put them on the back foot. And we had 2 or 3 glorious opportunities to get back into that game and make it 1-1. Unfortunately, it's not meant to be. Their goalkeeper was exceptional, and they've got some really good players, and happy with the performance, not happy with the result, but back to the drawing board and we move forward.
Going into the second game, the Bucknell game, not exactly the start you want. You give up a goal in the second minute, but the offense storms back, scores 4 goals in the first half. Were you happy with the response after the slow start?
Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon game. We played Friday night against a quality opponent and really ran hard and worked hard for each other. It's difficult to motivate yourself for that Sunday afternoon. I don't think the early goal was a factor in the lack of motivation. I just think these things happen, and unfortunately it happened early. But it gives you 88 minutes to bounce back, and with the offensive output this team has, we really can go on a scoring tirade just like we did yesterday.
Jill Mulholland, who was limited to 3 games last year and injury shortened her season, she's back now for her redshirt sophomore year. She outshoots the entire Bucknell team. She has 7 shots compared to Bucknell's 6. Was a force all around, scored a goal in the first half. Just talk about how she's come back from her injury.
Oh yeah, we love Jill, and we're ecstatic that she's back. And these last 2 games showed us what we missed last year in the CAAs, and I truly believe if we had Jill during that season, we would have got to the NCAAs. She is the consummate 2-way player. She's making last gasp tackles on the top of the 18-yard box, and then she's making driving runs in the offensive third. And when you've got such energy from a player, on the second day, she worked equally as hard on Friday. She put in more hours work on Sunday. To have that in our schedule, in our conference schedule, is a huge bonus.
And with her play there, that obviously impacts the forwards as well. And Sam Scolarici takes advantage of that possession, scores 2 goals yesterday, continuing where she left off last year. Just talk about, she always seems to play well, especially at home.
Yeah, to be fair, I was slightly concerned about Sam. She hasn't had a great pre-season by her standards. She's worked hard, she's tried to get into good spots, but she's just been probably a nanosecond off with her timing. And that's always concerning with forwards. Friday night she didn't really get any quality opportunities. Her touch was slightly off, and then yesterday she bounced back and she scored 2 great goals. And again, like I said, she appears to do well at home. She enjoys our field, and it's always good to get your main goal scorer on the score sheet.
Well, you talked about your veteran players, but one of the younger players who really stepped up is Kristen Desmond, starting the first 2 games on the back line, playing the majority of the minutes. Just talk about what Kristen's brought to the team through her first 2 collegiate games.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of effort to recruit Kristen, and a lot of time and energy from the whole coaching staff. Toby and Courtney worked hard on her as well, because we knew she was going to make an immediate impact, and that's exactly what she's done. She's added some stability to our back line. She's added speed and tenacity and aggression and strength. And when you've got those in the central part of your defence, you're gonna negate a lot of one-on-one situations, and that's exactly what she's done. She's ran down 2 or 3 UConn players on Friday, 2 or 3 Bucknell players yesterday, just feel pure speed. And she's going to be a tremendous player for this program.
And speaking of other young players as well, Jenna Borison gets into the games, plays the entire second half in goal in her collegiate debut against Bucknell. She's a player who started camp as a field player, as a position player. You moved her into goal and made a couple of saves, did not allow a goal in the second half. Just what did you see of her coming in?
Well, she played goalkeeper in high school, so we knew she had that potential. She was all county goalkeeper, so she's no slouch in goal. But she played at the Premier level as a central defender. To have her as a backup allows us to play through her feet because she's a field player really. But she's got the physical components to be a very good goalkeeper. She's got good height, good size, good hands, powerful, and she's going to get better and better and stronger when we get more individual training on her. And it's good to have an option both ways from her perspective. And with Freddie being slightly injured, it helps us to give her some rest and hopefully prepare us moving forward.
You had 2 games through the first 3 days. You have a week off before your next game Sunday at home against St. Joseph's at 1 o'clock. After having those first 2 games, how good is it to have a full week of practice? You just recover from the games a little bit and maybe work on some things that you saw?
Yeah, I think the recovery is the most important aspect. We've got a lot of dings. Pre-season was a tough pre-season for this team. And playing Nuke on Friday, then Bucknell fresh because they didn't have a game Friday. It was a bit of a grind, and everybody's got slight niggly injuries. It could be a quad, an hamstring, a groin, ankles. So having the extra couple of days will allow Katie, our trainer, to get them made up and fixed and prepared and healthy for Sunday.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for the time, and thank you, fans, for watching the Coach's Report right here on GoHofstra.com.